I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. What's up? One Crack News. Carcino for life. Let's get it. Oh, Aki. As academics is going down this road of pivoting, trying to bounce from whoever the victor is, he got to jump on the bandwagon. Why he playing that game? He's struggling. That bird keep trying to swim. In mainstream media, their approach and coverage of this has been egregious. Absolutely egregious. But academics running around with a chicken, like a chicken with his head cut off. It's sad. It's sad. Happy Thursday, everyone. And let's get to it. Now, here's what we find very interesting, people. Now that academics is compromised, he's now trying to pivot. He's actually said Kendrick Lamar has better songs, better albums than Drake. He said Drake is a liar. He said Drake is foul for sleeping with all his friends' girls and trying to. Where was all this before the battle started? Drake ain't done none of this stuff that he's talking about after the battle. This has all been before the battle and during. Now that his boy done lost, boy, his whole tone has changed. That boy is trending lightly. That boy is light on his feet like Heavy D. Now, as we get back to the cooler moments of things, we've also noticed things that's happening. Like Nicki Minaj, she don't like that. So, Nicki ain't really been cool with this dude. I've never been cool with this dude. He's a germ, he's a virus. So now the mainstream media has made an avenue, created a lane where people can come through and know that this guy here is a parasite. Academics is nothing but a parasite. And the more that we sit here and champion him, the worse things are going to become. And that's the sad part, is that he's running to these people to make him a media conglomerate in the voice of hip hop, which we won't stand for because we know what he is. Now, with that being said, right, hit that like button. There's a lot to accumulate and put into perspective. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. There's a lot to put into perspectives here. Because mainstream media has changed their tone again. And because this fat rug rat want to now root for Kendrick because he wants to save his channel, who's also fighting two sexual assault cases already on his head. Now he's trying to pivot and run his nasty, faded, dirty sweatshirt ass over to Kendrick Lamar side. He backed the wrong horse and now he wants to move out of it like he did with King Von and Quando Rondo. Once he was all King Von and once Von died, he rolled over there to Quando Rondo. And y'all let him get away with it. Yeah, I told him, you trying to pivot, fat boy. Nobody letting you do that. Not over here. And now he got mainstream media over here playing the string game. See, when they play that old string puppet game, that's when everybody get different and everybody get real stupid. And they act like they don't know what's going on. Everybody Brian is just on prom. They just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Oh, you don't understand? Okay. Well, we gonna make things real clear for you. Because we're gonna show you what the whole mainstream media world is looking at now. And how they view certain things and topics that's going on in the world. Oh, yes, we're gonna do it. This is what white folks in white America see. We know because we're online. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know what's happening out here. But the mainstream media is pointing it in a whole new light to what others don't. So let's bring y'all to the ballpark so we can get into what's really going on around here. So y'all can see what's really happening around these parts. Now, this is white America trying to explain the political angle and trying to tie it Kendrick and Lamar Drake's battle
at the top so long, many say his time is over, and a challenger who will stop at nothing for the throne. Now, that might apply to the president defending his title from a former president, but this is actually a different throne. As the rapper with the most hits, Drake fights the rap artist with the most acclaimed poetry, Kendrick Lamar. And that's not all, because I can tell you in the past 6 weeks, there are about 10 new songs from 4 different artists, mostly arrayed against Drake. And at the core of it, a battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. These songs are topping the charts. They're captivating fans. As a matter of news, Joe Biden's presidential campaign has just engaged on the Kendrick Lamar side, using his new lyrics to go against Trump. We are talking about an event that is so big in our culture, it has become part of our politics and public life, driving debates and plenty of news.
So this is how they cover the battle. This is how mainstream media is going to cover this. And this is why the poison people like academics, and they all put these people on here to sway you, because they don't want you to think for yourself. So now they're going to use Kendrick and Lamar's push over the young audience, and they seeing the demographics of the numbers, and they want those numbers to roll over to the votes. They know that these guys are in their 20s and all that. They got a huge following. So now what we have to do is say, well, Casino for Life don't count. His numbers don't count. One Crack News, his numbers don't count. We're not concerned about what they say. Really? They're sitting here trying to push and navigate the people right towards one thing: votes. And they want to get the mainstream media to let them know this battle with Trump and Biden is like Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. That's how big it is, and everybody was talking about it, and it never faded away till it had more attention than the political pull on the current facts of this nation. So they got to drag that into a political battlefield. So that's how the mainstream media wants to cover it, to show you the power of hip hop. If it's a powerful weapon because it generates and controls even the White House, the biggest office in the world. It has the most influential use over anybody, over drugs, anything. So you have to actually pay attention to what these people are saying about it, because they're not speaking to you. You're not going to be watching this guy in this shirt and tie. You're not going to be paying attention to him. They're not speaking to you. They're speaking to the other conservative people that don't even know who probably Drake and Kendrick Lamar is. They're speaking to that group about this thing is like this. And these people are like, what is going on here? What is this Drake and Kendrick thing? So now they're painting the picture the way they want of what the battle was to them. Now we already know what it is because we cover it. But now you get to see how it is from mainstream media.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar are trending after taking aim at one another.
There is a lot to unpack in the Drake and Kendrick Lamar feud.
The two legendary rappers going at it all weekend, each making some very wild accusations.
If Drake and Kendrick Lamar got in a rap battle, who do you think would win?
Got to go with Kendrick.
So the winner in music, a big surprise, Kendrick Lamar.
The Pulitzer Prize in music almost always has gone to someone in the world of contemporary classical music.
I love the Drake new project, and I just really take that as, love for my little brother.
There's another battle next week, right? And I don't want to hear about it. I'm signing you up, man.
The two best of their generation in their prime. I've never seen a rap battle give us this much music.
Throwing haymakers like Lamar, Kendrick at Drake.
Everyone keeps coming up to me and asking, Gail, where do you stand on this Drake, Kendrick Lamar feud?
Yeah. To me, has been the best rap battle I've ever witnessed.
Right now, we've just lived through the most significant battle in any musical genre in decades, the most consequential clash of this digital era. In fact, it's the internet that helps us show how we know that over 100 million people have actually heard these songs or about them. And this is deeper than rap, to paraphrase Rick Ross. It's about culture, truth, capitalism, civil rights, and what values we honor and reward. Now, in the two poles of hip hop, Kendrick Lamar roughly represents the more artistic, raw, and truthful voice. Remember, I mentioned Governor Adlai Stevenson's line? Well, Lamar echoes him in this line in the battle directed at Drake.
I know you're a master manipulator and habitual liar too, but don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell truths about you.
Lamar taking shots from a higher ground, and he lit the fuse for this whole battle in a recent verse after a long-running Cold War between these two. Then both artists did about 11 songs in all, including 8 in just the last 17 days, a flurry of music. Lamar argues in these songs that Drake is a, quote, scam artist, with the hopes of being accepted and proclaiming himself the true artist, like a modern Raphael, who heals and gives you art. But he says the industry's cooked as he picks the carcass apart. Lamar's allegories treat this pop star Drake as a kind of soulless zombie atop a dead industry. And Lamar casts himself as a reluctant but lethal artistic warrior and revolutionary. He indicts Drake for continuing the ugly American playbook of exploiting Black culture, copying and stealing art without credit or value, without equity. And this is an issue from current artists that Drake works with to the others that he may idolize. Take the late Tupac Shakur. Lamar invokes Tupac partly for their shared vision. Pac condemned these same capitalist dynamics before his untimely death at age 25.
Now, you see how he's painting the picture? He's painting it from a political standpoint so that the conservatives who don't listen to rap can understand it. How is he mocking Jesus with the head of thrones? That was the biggest thing Kendrick ever did, was removing the copyright claims everyone had doing reviews. Now you've seen everyone do and use that song. And it made the song go bigger than, like, it went through new lengths. I mean, who hadn't heard the song? Right? I mean, who didn't do something? This is the day I probably had the first one.
Nigga, he a freak throw, man down, call like Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabronis?
Now, as you can see, that video was done the very next day, immediately. But I didn't go ahead and say, hey, you know, I need this, I need that, I need this. We didn't do that. I couldn't even move my leg, to say the least. But you're right, I didn't even release mine. Mine is not released. You only see it like if you watch these video clips. So mine was out, like nobody really knew the lyrics to the song yet. It came out that night. That was Sunday morning. Right. So if you heard that song for the first time, you knew what it was. So Academics, he knew what it was. He tried to downplay it, and Drake tried to get all his minions to go against it. Maul, all these other fools, to try to say Drake won. And he just looked more and more like a clown, and who couldn't be taken seriously. And he looks compromised. Yeah, what the hell is a 6 guy, if that's the case? Go. The audience is not dumb. Paint the stories how you want. Hey, Drake, they not slow. They not slow. Yeah, paint the stories how you want. So when you see this happening in front of you, this guy is painting it not to you, but to the mainstream masses. That's what he's trying to accomplish. Well, the scales of what you're looking at is different, because academics is trying to manipulate us at our level by going on TMZ and trying to inform people like TMZ of what's going on. He's not at this level. Okay, academics is basically a virus, a germ. He's like a germ he's like the common cold. Okay, he's a germ in this business. He has no credibility, no morals, no purpose, nothing. He knows nothing about hip hop. Nothing about it whatsoever, except for being a fanboy. So people taking him at his word, it means nothing. I mean, his word means literally nothing to us. That's the real talk. That's the real spill. So you can't pivot your way out of this. You gonna go down with the ship. You on Drake's side, you stay on Drake's side. Don't come over here acting like you didn't have a side, and now you trying to be neutral academics. We know what you are, and you are not a part of the mainstream media. You're a puppet boy put on there to do what? Try to entertain the rest of the masses. And you're making yourself look like a fool. Now, one crack news. I want to give a shout out to everybody over there. Hit that like button up over there. Hit the like button up over here. Oh, salute always, Mr. Campbell. Now, we will continue this on Carcino for Life. If you're on One Crack News, go over to the Carcino for Life channel, and we'll see the rest of y'all later. For them. Now, for us, we continue. The battle continues for us because we're still in the grind. We are still in the grease. The show goes on. It don't stop. Now, this is where we were with the mainstream media. Let's continue.
All the society is doing is leeching off the ghetto. They use the ghetto for their pain, for their sorrow, for their culture, for their music, for their happiness, for their movies.
Leeching. Tupac Shakur was then diagnosing a problem in American capitalism and how it controls culture, what he called there the ghetto, quote unquote, or black culture, from entertainment and movies to music to withering and punishing contracts and abusive artists while they lived and after they died. This is a long-running issue. We've covered it on this program before. It relates, of course, to civil rights, to capitalism, and to politics. As for the current debate, hip-hop experts like Ebro Darden report that Lamar was right to tackle this particular use and exploitation of culture and language.
The streets in this hip-hop means something. the streets and the community, the where this stuff comes from, the language you're using, the slang you're using, I don't know, the affiliations to individuals who live a lifestyle that is nefarious, those affiliations, they mean something to your credibility.
This means something to your credibility, Darden explains. And so what may look to some like just a battle between two big entertainers, maybe you've heard a little bit about this and thought it's just an entertainment story. What may look like that is something much deeper for many, many people. Now, it's a battle. Drake has been arguing that Lamar is actually the poser in his own right, saying he acts like an activist and plays with those themes, lyrics, and actually take action for his community, that it's all make-believe. Drake also says that while he works hard, Lamar doesn't even make that much music anymore. And Drake dismisses this kind of hand-wringing over hits as Kendrick trying to have it both ways. The idea is top artists want to go number one. So Drake argues his competitors only do so by either making songs with him, so they do benefit from it, he would argue, or picking fights and talking about him, the boy, in a lopsided 20-on-1 matchup.
Now, listening to this explained, and you're right, AK can't Tootsie slide his way out of this. But listen to this explained is hilarious, the way they're explaining this to mainstream media. Like I said, they're not explaining this to us. They're explaining this to people that don't even watch or listen whatsoever, but it's trending news. Over 100 million of people are tuned into Drake and Kendrick, so they have to cover Drake and Kendrick. So they want to tie it into politics. This media analytical breakdown is hilarious. Right. So imagine this is how they're talking about us, our culture. This is how they're covering it. And we know how alien they are to this. How do they know U.S. people? So imagine how they cover blacks, period. Yeah, now it's starting to make a lot of sense. Starting to make a lot more sense when you look at the grand scheme of it, right? Well, it's called being put up on game. Battle rap itself is its own genre. Well, it's like this. The hip hop world is indifferent, meaning that in this world of hip hop, you have people who are indifferent to situations. Who said, no, they didn't break it down on the news. Yes, they did, Crystal. They broke it down on the news because he said vote for Biden. And the reason why they're doing this and playing this narrative and this tone that they're doing is because they need your attention over there, because 100 million people are not paying attention to them. And This is the only reason they got to pretend to care about you. So this is what they're saying. You have the power, black people. You have the power. You have the power. This is what it represents. It's telling you right here how much power you have. So when you give and take away their power, they will become subservient to you. They will come to you because you control the masses. You control fashion, food, style, everything. And everybody just copy off you. If you say it ain't cool, white people gonna say it ain't cool. So you affect hundreds of millions of dollars a day. You changed the name of the Nike Corporation. The shoes were called Nike. Get your Nikes. They were Nikes. We changed the name to Nike. We said Nike. And you know what they said? Well, it's Nike. If black folks is calling it Nike, we are not going to keep correcting them. The word is pronounced Nike. We changed it to Nike in the 80s and said, man, them Nikes. They're Nikes. We said Nike. And did you think the Nike Corporation kept fighting us after trying to correct us? So we control the masses on what it is. They made flavored chips because of us. We kept putting hot sauce on potato chips. And they said, whoa, why are these black people walking around with a bag of our chips with a thing of hot sauce, pouring it on the chips and shaking up the bag? What are they doing? We need to capitalize on this. We need to make hot chips, hot flavored chips. We control the market. People was like, what are you doing? What are they doing? That's the new style. They got one pants leg rolled up and the other one down. We like that. They just rolled up their jeans. Let's make jean shorts. White guys would just cut the jeans off and make a pair of jean shorts out of jeans. Let's just make blue jean shorts. We controlled this market. We made style hot. Now the NBA, who couldn't stand hip hop, now they all into it. So watching these people cover the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef from a perspective that their subscribers and the people that watch it can understand it. We're sitting here cracking up because we already know what it is, because this is coming from our culture. But see how they cover our culture. This is how they cover you, because they don't know you either. So when you hear them talk about you on the news, they're not talking about you to people that know you. They're trying to explain it to people that don't even consort with you anyway. Know nothing about Black culture. They know nothing about Black people because they don't care to know. So this is the only thing they can do is try to tie it to something political.
We already know, baby.
Now, Drake's response is make some points here with artistry. But over the course of this battle, he found himself defending a type of status quo and then backing off this big, long-awaited battle after he'd taunted Lamar about everything from how often he drops music to whether he would get involved in this battle, which he really did. Now, what we're discussing here is a small slice of these issues. Both men also accused each other of serious crimes with no evidence, the kind of claims that responsible journalists don't even repeat. The songs devolving into acrimony and unverifiable accusations, as the New York Times put it, with attacks on everything from race to appropriation to body image to misogyny and trauma and more. Now, many have noted the extremes as well here. And this is where culture may reflect and extend some of the broader problems we face today. From our politics to how we live and learn and engage online, we have this kind of cynical anti-truth mode that has become very normalized. I bet you're familiar with it if you follow news and politics. This is where in campaigns and sometimes in cultural conversations, people will seriously say, well, if the conspiracy theory sticks, it doesn't matter if it's true. It worked. And I want to be clear as we take a look at this important battle that these kind of lyrical contests were once waged more in the spirit of argument, lyricism, artistry, and some sense of truth. So we should ask, are they now graded on just the most effective lies or conspiracy theories? Because if that happens, then art can devolve into politics, to partisan loyalty, not listening to the other side, claiming everything is justified for your team. And as mentioned, effective lies win, so why not use them too? And the other side's doing it anyway, yada, yada, yada. Now that's not only corrosive, it also makes us vulnerable to a bigger problem where culture is less able to do what it has done, including specifically civil rights and Black culture in American life for a long time, which is push us and redeem even our political divides. Today, some of this may only reflect them. And again, that may be a product of our digitized era. I'm not saying who in one single story is responsible, but noting some of these wider conflicts.
Now, you see how they good at twisting things around and bring in Alex Jones and all these other people that don't have the narrative. You see that? How they be so good at twisting stuff. Right, but see, if we didn't know what it was already, if we didn't know what this battle was, we didn't know what it was about, if we didn't know anything about it and we was just looking at this on the news, we would think, oh my gosh, yeah, this is just like Alex Jones. And he's throwing it up with people that are relative to the subject. Well, he think they're relative to the subject. It has nothing to do with any of those, but he's painted it as a political battle. Like each guy is fighting for a political side. And now he's trying to write things off as rumor and propaganda without even saying, without any real evidence being provided. This is a hip hop battle, not two guys running for office. And in every political battle, there's always been accusations with a lot of stuff not proven. And this would say it's political mudslinging. But now, when it's two black guys, everything they say has to be absolutely correct. Backed up with the paperwork facts. Since when have you guys ever cared about facts? You guys have an agenda. And as long as the agenda is being met, then you guys will, stay in tow. But in any other case, no, they don't care. And Drake, his whole empire is falling apart. That boy done went to the countryside. He done packed up and went country. Kendrick made that boy leave his $90 million mansion to go live on a ranch on the countryside. That's got to be the most demoralizing loss in the history of hip hop.
So that's big picture. Now, this is still a battle, and there is the question of who won. Most hip hop heads say Kendrick Lamar. That's clear online from fans to rap media. As for the hits, well, this new Kendrick Lamar catalog, the new diss songs I've been telling you about against Drake, they're doing higher numbers with more likes than Drake, and they're breaking records, again, coming out of the unpredictable, organic, spontaneous exchange of poetry between these two lyricists. Now, Lamar himself cautions against using only that kind of metric. In the new songs, he criticizes faking for likes and digital hugs. It's on one of those new diss tracks, and he contrasts that with authentic credibility. Indeed, in these songs, after lodging objections to bad taste and bad ideas and appropriation and exploitation, Kendrick Lamar underscores his argument, which I've told you is supported by many in America right now, that he actually represents a movement. He says, notice, I said we, it's not just me, I'm what the culture feeling. End quote. All right. Now, art is not usually a competition, but we all have choices to make, from how we live to what we support. And even when it's boiled down to just picking sides, it can be more significant to look not only at who you endorse, because we're all going to make up our own minds, and I encourage you to do that, but how are we getting there? And are we communicating and figuring that out? Do we define the criteria and values we use to make these choices, political, musical, cultural, or otherwise? And do we figure out if those criteria and values are correct, or if they need to evolve?
Now, all right. He said, I'd rather he doing it at that voice. KB, what's up? Now, you see this guy here breaking this down. You hear this guy? Everything's a competition. Everything's a competition. I don't know what is he talking about when he comes into that, but it's funny to me because he's taking everybody's lines. And he's taking lines out and he's misappropriating it. Now he's like, well, he's leading a culture because he says, notice, I didn't say we. It's not just me. I'm what the culture is feeling, buddy, not what the culture is feeling. Not the culture feeling. No, the culture is feeling. Meaning the hip hop culture. That's what we're feeling. And Kendrick was right. That's what we were feeling. But you're taking it out of context. But it's typical. We've seen them do this with us throughout their entire life. Take out one sentence you take and take it completely out of context and spin it to what they want. As this guy is spinning everyone to pay attention and listen to him as he steer you to the polls. That's what his goal is. Let's get some of those 100 million viewers who are not listening to us. Why would I be going against Ticket? What is me and Ticket going to war about? White America would turn on Drake behind this. Ooh, the Black Zionist, man. Yeah, your thumbnail now is in cringe mode. Yeah, I haven't seen you around in a while, and I see why. Ms. Justice. Oh my God, is this Drake TV? Drake News.
You know, this battle tested those values for many in real time. And what happens in the culture matters, not only in the moment, because we're here on the first draft of history, but often for years to come, especially for the next shaping minds. And a lot more people follow culture than news and politics. So when we have one of these big debates in real time, we should listen to each other and definitely to the next generation. What do people stand for? Who do we oppose? Why do you care if they're not like us? And what do we want to be? In the end, I've told you before, lyrics are poetry. They can help us see and grow. And some of these questions, how we answer them together, are even more important than anything else in the debate.
And that's that. So already, this is where we are, people, in society and everything. Now, this is where the line is drawn. This is what they don't want you to know, see, the whole thing. It's all a dog and pony show, remember? They don't care. They need you. You represent the votes. You're that sleeping giant. But they want to keep you asleep. They don't want you to wake up and realize we really don't need them. They need us. Once people wake up and realize that, then people can go ahead and make, different changes that they need. But when you stuck in a situation where you don't know your worth, No, you can get stuck. And when you get stuck in that situation, you're put in a situation where you're put in a box to where it doesn't normally go well for you. So, right, everybody has a perspective, right? But let's get to some other news that's quite engaging. Are y'all ready to see it? Now, when you have been faced with dealing with some situations that because I'm going to show y'all something. When you've been faced with dealing with a situation such as Drake and the accusations of him being PDF file. What's up, Jose? Jack Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez. I still don't know what Jack Sports Talk even means. But unless you're a Jaguars fan, that throws me off. Now, oh yeah, Jose's always been a supporter of the show. So don't forget to support his page. And if you like football, breakdowns, sports in general, he's hilarious. Definitely check him out. Now, here's something I want to show you guys. Now, with all these accusations against you, right? All these situations, you would think that Drake would have learned this lesson, right? He would have stayed out of it. But what does he do? He goes ahead and goes around young girls. He's loving Texas. He's just showing love to Texas. He just wanted to go in there and meet some young girls as he is a fan. This is recent. He wants to use his fame Drake can't help himself. Now, these are recent, folks. What is it, the breaks? You don't want to be around and you don't like casino no more. Okay. You wrote with academics and now he in the same boat. He autographed his shoes. What are you autographing your shoes for? You didn't play. This is this man's way now. See, I wasn't going to show y'all this. I was going to show y'all this later. These are recent pictures. He's been in Texas because he just bought that farm. So now he got a farmhouse where he can run out there with these young girls. Now, whether they're age or not, yes, these are all recent pictures. Recent. These are teenage girls. I was going to save this. Who said Teaser Tales was right, Sino? Hey, she gonna really have some fun with this. If she sees this, she's really gonna have some fun with it. Cause she go way over the line. She turned into Wendy Williams 2.0. She's like, they got a stable. It's a whole. The state is number one for. I'm like, man, they trafficking over there. Is Drake recruiting? Oh my goodness. But yeah, she's entertaining though. I give her that. She's very entertaining. Yeah, she's all over the place. So yes. Look at the coach. Coach is like, yay, we got Drake here. Thanks for coming here, making these girls feel special. This dude just haven't learned his lesson. You never see Drake with women over 30. There is so much going on. Well, when you start looking at threads, you start looking at your activity, you start seeing things that's happening around the globe. So Mm-hmm. No, I really don't see it going that far. I see it at a whole different level. Well, it was some things that happened. I believe it was yesterday during my live stream. And something very interesting happened when I went to the club last night. Now, a lot of y'all probably was asleep or didn't probably catch it last night, but let's see what happened. Something very interesting happened here, and we're gonna share this on the Patreon.
So my thing is, why?
Now, listen to this.
Oh my God!
What's good?
How you doing? You? It's been so long. Oh, he saved my life.
Good man.
Right. How have you been? Okay.
I've been all right. Just chilling.
Okay, Mr. Suave. I see you.
Gotta stay suave.
I see you.
All right, I'll see y'all in there. Now, key thing, I saved that girl's life. I saved that girl's life. Did you hear her say that? I saved her life, and she would never forget, and she never will forget me for it. He said, I knew that was a Patreon story. You better believe it, and it's coming right up on the Patreon. So if you on the Casino for Life Patreon, that's where you gonna see it. I'm a superhero at night, buddy. Nah, she's a Latino chick. She's not a white girl. She just grew up out here, so they talk white, but she's Latino. No, because I'm righteous. And I'm not going to sit there and let what was finna happen to that girl happen to that girl. I saved her life.
Oh my God!
What's good?
How you doing? It's been so long. You saved my life.
Good man.
All
right.
How have you been? Okay.
I've been all right.
Yeah. I saved her life. Why I don't talk white? Some people think I do. I don't know. They tell me I talk white. So I don't know. I saved that girl's life because if it wasn't for me, well, I'm gonna tell you about it on the Patreon. All right, we're gonna get up out of here. Shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Welcome to HD TV, Armando Black TV, and we out.